What up, world? It's your boy JusRzd, and we here to talk about X-Men 97, episode 9. Let's get it. Do me a favor. Go ahead, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you know you're supposed to be doing. Anyway, we on YouTube now. What are you doing? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Appreciate y'all subscribing to the channel. Appreciate y'all tapping in with the reviews. Let's keep running up these numbers. Anyway, I don't care about none of that. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning before I move forward. Spoiler warning. We're going to chop it up about this episode. Episode 9. X-Men 97. I don't understand how they keep cooking so well. I just don't understand how they just in the pot. Just cooking in the pot. Just in the pot cooking. Like, bruh. Episode 9 starts out with the aftermath of everything that transpired in episode 8. Now, this is the second episode of a 3-part finale. Man. Starts out, we see Xavier waking up. We see Magneto somewhere randomly by a body of water and a mountain. And we see Bastion holding his Prime Sentinel mother with tears streaming down his face. Anyway, so it starts off there. Xavier's having to deal with not only just the emotional weight of everything that's transpired since he's been gone, but just the loss of everything that's happened since he's been gone, and just everything that's transpired now since he's been back. And it's a lot of hard themes and life lessons in this episode that are having to be confronted like head on. Like, you got Cyclops and his disappointment in Professor X's decision to make Magneto the leader of the X-Men when he left. Then you got Charles, who wanted the best for Cyclops and Jean because they were his first students. So that's why he left the X-Men to Magneto, so that they could have a life and have children and be free to do whatever it is that they want. And you just see these heavy themes and conflicting ideals just in the X-Men, and you could just see it just weighing heavy on everybody. Rogue wakes up finally. And of course, Nightcrawler's there by her bedside to greet her. She's still in mourning with the whole Gambit thing, but he tells her, he was like, hey, not everybody's dead. She was like, oh, Remy? Well, not Remy, but well. So the show ends up progressing. Professor X is having to talk to the X-Men. They have a meeting. They set up a strategy and a game plan to move forward. Charles gives information. Professor X gives some information on Bastion, and they just set a strategy on what they need to do moving forward. Storm and Forge return. They end up rescuing Jubilee and Sunspot from the Friends of Humanity that was trying to kind of had them in a corner in the alley. They rescue them, take them back to the mansion. So it's like a big family reunion, even in the midst of a lot of loss and grief. Wolverine is here for all the smoke. For all the smoke. He's like, yeah, bub, we know what we gotta do. But it's just like, all right, man, chill out. Like, hold on. Before we start doing all this and talking about death and dismembership, we've already lost enough. So let's strategize a better plan. So they split up into groups. You got one team with Cyclops that's going to confront Magneto, and then going to find Magneto, and then you have a team led by Storm and Jean that's actually going to stop Bastion. And the reason why they want to find Magneto is because that worldwide EMP that he did in episode 8 to end episode 8 has actually messed up the Earth's magnetic field. So if he doesn't fix that issue, the Earth possibly could be destroyed. So then you see Rogue kind of having a moment of grief at the lake by the house, by the X Mansion. Professor X pulls up and starts talking to her, and conversation's not really going that well, just because of everything that she's lost and just the way everything's feeling right now for them. But of course, it's Professor X, so of course he's talking to her, being sympathetic and empathetic. And lo and behold, Magneto pulls up with the whole asteroid M. And it's just like, yo, I ain't here to fight. I ain't here to squabble. But when you left me the X-Men. So these are my X-Men. If any of y'all want to join me on Asteroid M and take to the offensive, you can come right now. My arms are open. So of course, Rogue, feeling the way that she feels, she joins them. Sunspot still being upset with his parents and his mother for handing him and Jubilee over to the Prime Sentinels. He was just like, man, I can't do this either. So he ends up going with Magneto. So now Rogue and Magneto have left the fold of the X-Men, and they went with Magneto on Asteroid M. So now this just pushes the narrative even further for the X-Men to construct their plan properly, so that way they can restore the Earth's magnetic fields and stop bashing at the same time. Magneto's over it at this point. It's all out war for him. Not with mutants, but with mutants and humans. And so they send out the two groups. There's a cool montage. There's a couple good sensitive moments and conversations. One between Cyclops and Cable, and one between a couple other members, Forge and Storm and Beast and whatever. And then there's a cool montage of everybody putting on their old outfits. Side note. The only old outfit that actually looks good is Wolverine and Storm's. I'm sorry, everybody else's is trash. It had to be said. It had to be said. Everybody else is 2 thumbs down. But Wolverine and Storm's, fire. Forge's is okay too. But I don't know if his was the old school outfit or if it was just the fact that that was his outfit. But anyway, wasn't feeling the wardrobe. Wasn't feeling the wardrobe change. But I'm like, all right, I'll let him cook. I'm gonna let him cook. So then the Storm and Jean's team infiltrate the island where Bastion is. They end up coming up against Sinister and some Sentinels. And you actually see a firefight between Jean Grey and Sinister. And you see Beast and Cable and Morph, who transforms into the Hulk. Just wreaking havoc across the Sentinel landscape. And as Jean Grey and Sinister are fighting, Cable gets shot by a Sentinel across the map. And he gets shot and it sends him across the map. And then Sinister and Jean are going back and forth and they're fighting, and morphs into Sinister and tries to sneak into Bastion's lair and apply this collar that Beast and Forge created to sever his connection to all the Sentinels. So that way they can reverse the process of everything with the Prime Sentinels and pretty much end Bastion's tyranny. So he tries to sneak in there and put the collar on, tries to trick Bastion so he can put the collar on. Bastion ain't here for none of it. He already know what type of dude Sinister is, and the way Morph came, the way Morph came into the lair and tried to go about being sneaky. He was like, man, I ain't having none of that. Sinister's self-serving. He would never do what you just did. And so he knocks him back, and then Beast picks up the collar and tries to put it on him. Of course, Bastion gets him hemmed up and takes the collar from him. Then they cut to, of course, the X-Jet. Now making up the Asteroid M. Rogue and Sunspot pull up on the jet, and they open it up, and Nightcrawler teleports everybody inside. So when they teleport everybody inside, Professor X is trying to explain to Magneto, like, bro, don't do this. We need to restore the Earth's magnetic fields so that way more people won't die. Like I said, Magneto ain't here for none of it. He's like, hey man, they declare war on us, we declare war on them. It is what it is. And so that starts a fight between that group. So you got Cyclops, you got Wolverine. Like I said, Wolverine's here for all the smoke. So he immediately claws out, goes to lunge at Magneto. Rogue catches him out of the air, and she's like, no. You looking for blood. We not here for that. We just want to move forward in the direction that we're moving. We not trying to fight or kill y'all. So you got Jubilee and Sunspot going back and forth with one another. He apologizing while he blasting her. She not apologizing while she blasting him. You got Cyclops trying to reason with Magneto, and you got Professor Xavier trying to reason with Magneto. So Cyclops and Magneto are fighting. Wolverine and Rogue are fighting. And you got Nightcrawler there fighting. I guess Rogue or Sunspot, one of them. And in the midst of them fighting, Professor X says, we got to get his helmet. We got to get Magneto's helmet off because Magneto's in his old school fit. It's Magneto. His old school fit's still fire. And so Wolverine ends up trying to get his helmet off, and Magneto flings Wolverine back. The helmet comes off, and Professor X was like, "This is the moment, Cyclops. This is the moment we've been waiting for. I gotta go for it. I don't want to do this, but he's forcing my hand. I gotta take over his mind to use his abilities to restore the magnetic fields of the Earth." And Cyclops was like, "Well, what about the ground team that went to go stop Bastion?" And Professor X was like, it's too late for that. Like we gotta just put our trust in them that they got everything handled, and we gotta go forward and do this. Cut to the ground team. Sinister is now playing. Is still fighting Jean Grey, but he's lured her into an area. He's lured her into an area, and it's revealed that he's just talking mad trash. Well, he lured her into an area. He's talking mad trash towards her, and was like, "Yo, I can let you know when I switch you and Madeline." And Jean's like, "Man, forget all that. You're not about to get in my head. Me and Madeline are fighting together now because she's dead." So then you got Sinister just like, "Hey, that's cool with me. You finally gave me what I wanted and what I was looking for." Whole time, he reveals that he now has control of Cable. So now Cable is under Sinister's spell, and Jean's trying to talk to him to get him out of it. Cable ain't trying to hear it, so he starts attacking her. Jean's trying to hold him off while Sinister is laughing in the background. So Jean calls out to Scott psychically, brings him into it, shows him what's happening, and it's just like, "I love you, but I don't know how this is gonna play out." And then it cuts back. Cyclops is like, "No, wait." And then he's back where his body actually is. And he's just Professor X is in the middle of trying to take over Magneto's mind to manipulate him into restoring the magnetic fields on Earth. Cyclops shoots Professor X's chair, and he's like, "Scott, why?" And he's like, "Hey, the ground team needs more time. There's a lot going on right now." And so Magneto gets frustrated that Professor X was doing that, because what he was doing was very painful. He was forcing his will upon Magneto to use his powers. And telepathically, that can really mess you up and can be really, really, really painful, according to the comics. But so Magneto at this point is like, "Enough. I'm ending all this." So he strings everybody up against the wall and subdues them. He puts his helmet on Professor Xavier so he can't use his telepathy anymore. Then he uses his chair to actually hold Professor X in the air. And I don't know if he was squeezing him, but it looks like Professor X was in pain, so he probably was squeezing him with the chair. And as he's doing that and talking to him, good old Logan, he comes through with the shink and stabs right through the back of Magneto, to where you see the claws sticking out the front of Magneto, and Magneto is looking like, what is happening? And as a viewer, I'm looking like, what is happening? This next part is straight out of the comics. Wolverine stabbed him from behind, and then Magneto said, "Enough is enough. This feud ends now." Because of course Magneto and Wolverine don't get along. And he pretty much blasts Wolverine back against the wall and manipulates and grabs hold of the adamantium in his body and rips out all the adamantium in his body. And the final scene, you see him literally ripping the adamantium out of his body with his powers. And then the episode fades to black. Episode 9. Bruh, I heard inklings, and I had a feeling that they were going to hint at doing this, because in the comics, this particular fight where Magneto gets stabbed by Wolverine. They're fighting against Magneto and he stabs him, and then Magneto turns around and rips all the metal out of him. It's actually how Wolverine got his bone claws in the comics, because he thought that adamantium, he didn't realize his claws were also a part of his mutant ability. He just thought they were a part of the adamantium experiment that they did on him. The whole time he actually has claws, they're just bone claws. So I heard inklings that they were going to try to pull this off. I didn't think they were going to actually do it. So to see them actually do it and to see how graphic they went with it, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was not expecting to see it. The whole last, I want to say 10 minutes of the episode, I was just like, just seeing what was happening. And they're setting this up. They're setting up episode 10 to be a very definitive episode where I don't even think the X-Men are going to be the same going into season 2. Like, I don't even think the team's going to be the same. I don't think I just the way they're playing this story up, I don't think the team's going to be the same. I don't think the world, of course, is not going to be the same. They're going to look at mutants very differently. And yeah, I'm excited to see how this story plays out, and I'm excited to see where they go with it, because the things that are happening this season and towards the end of these last few episodes have been game changers. So I'm interested to see where they go with it and how they do it. I might even do a video on predictions of what X-Men 97 season 2 might be about, because they already got greenlit for, I want to say, season 2, 3, and possibly a 4th season. So we're gonna at least get 2 more seasons out of this. I know for sure they greenlit season 2 and season 3. I want to say they did season 4 too, but I'm not sure. But my rating for X-Men 97 episode 8, my rating for X-Men 97 episode 9, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10, only because I wanted it to be a little bit longer, just a little bit more exposition in the story. I feel like would have served this episode better. I really hope and pray that episode 10 is like 40 to 45 minutes. I feel like that would be fire. Even though all these episodes have been like around 30 minutes, I just want a little bit longer, just a little bit longer for the final finale, just to set up everything with season 2. But I'm interested, because the way they're telling the story is dope, and it's really, you can tell it's very thought through. It's very intricately written. Yeah, it's like watching an adult drama, like Game of Thrones or This Is Us, in X-Men animated form. Like, it's heavy. Some of the themes, some of the action it's heavy, but this whole season has been fire. So X-Men 97, hey man, hats off. Round of applause. Round of applause. Like I said, I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Let me know if I'm tripping. Let me know if you agree. Let me know how you feel about the episode. Let's chop it up in the comments. And don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man. Trying to get the subscribers up so we can keep the numbers moving and keep the routine going. We're gonna be dropping some more reviews soon of different shows, probably some new anime that I'm watching. Shout out to Kaiju number 8. But yeah, man, it's free soul to the show free. Let's get it.